Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to show you how to build an apartment, so that way you have a nicer place to put your villagers rather than in their one-by-one areas. So before I begin, remember, please like and subscribe, and without further ado, onto the tutorial. So, our palette consists of 5 blocks. Of course we're going to be using a little bit more, but these are the things you should collect most of. Polished granite, then some terracotta, that's the block you're going to be using the most, some orange terracotta for accents with the granite, then dark oak planks for your furniture, and birch planks for the flooring. Then find yourself a nice flat area, and start placing down your walls. And you want to space them like this. You have 3 blocks here, then you just give it a gap, then you place another 3 blocks, and create yourself a rectangle or square with this. I recommend making it long though. From here, we now need to establish where we are going to place our framing. And our framing is going to be made out of polished granite, and these holes that you should have are where we're going to have the little dividers. So you can have them not on the inside, only on the outside, but honestly, I feel like that's just not a good idea. But if you want to, then you can do that. So, place your granite on all the sides, filling in these gaps. Then, once you go 5 blocks up, then place down your orange terracotta to be an accent, which you should connect across. Then, you should grab yourself some granite stairs, polished granite for that matter, and surround the orange terracotta. And on the edges, make that slab. So, you should be using it like this. And now we have a way to establish accents on this building. So we got some of our accents now in place, and we want to add a little bit of landscape before we go any further. And in order to do that, all we need to do is add small azalea bushes like these, and these might be a little too tall, so you might want to decrease their size. And then you just speckle them with their flowered variant. So, very simple, but it actually does add quite a bit to this build. So, you should add a small amount of azalea bushes. Once you got your landscaping done, then place down your door, make sure the entrance is polished granite, and you can now go inside to your absolutely amazing apartment complex. And this first floor is going to be reserved for reception. So, replace the ground with birch planks. So, just quickly do that. And once you have the ground birch planks, add some windows. And I recommend that you have glass panes, so that way you just have a little bit more depth in this build. So, do that, and add your windows. Also, designate this area right here that I'm marking out for a staircase, and possibly even reserve another area for a closet. So, you should now make a nice spiral staircase in the corner, and also you might want to remove some of the windows on one of the corners so that way you have a janitor closet, which most people probably do not want to see. So, we'll poke out the windows there, and create a wall. Then, you can make the wall just the design we've been using the entire time, and we'll have just a nice room. Nothing else to really say about this. So, onto the spiral staircase. So, if you've watched my channel for more than 3 videos, you should know how to do one by now. But in case you haven't, then you place down a slab, then you place down 2 slabs, and then you place down 3, get rid of the bottom, and you just keep doing that until eventually you get to your destination. And your goal is to go as many floors high as you want. Because, remember, this is an apartment complex, so of course we want more space. I recommend making it go 2 to 3 floors off the reception area. Well, we have a spiral staircase, and we have one large issue with it. We don't exactly know how tall our floors are, so we should solve that. And the first step in doing that is on the topmost part of your walls, which should be 5 blocks, you want to start making your ceiling, which is terracotta. Then on this side, well, really this half, that's not even half. What am I even doing? Anyways, you want to make a good section of your place. Have birch planks as the floor of the next place. And this area right here is a good size, so we'll add the floor here. And then, now we have the floor. With our floor and ceiling now in place, we now need the walls in order to figure out the height. And our walls are going to be exactly the same for the most part, which means extend your accents upward, terracotta, and, of course, we need the rooms 4 blocks tall for, it be comfortable. And then make the tops terracotta, then make that birch planks. Then we can actually figure out how tall this place is going to be by repeating this step a lot. So only do this wall right here for now, and if you place down the birch planks, do all the way up till this segment. So I've done a bit of work up here, and it's not done. But the important thing is that we need to do this side. And in order to do this side, what we do is we place a slab in order to provide just a little bit of security to anybody walking by. And then we can add a pathway here. You can choose just about any block. I recommend something like granite, a non-wood block. But, of course, that's going to require some careful consideration. But the most important part is that we have these towers going up. So, we just forego the walls on this side, and we just continue the little accent framing. So, continuing to work on this, a couple of things that are going on. We can see that I have used this section where we have the birch wood and made new walls. So, from here, what we want to do is divide these rooms so that way we have 3 rooms. And that's about it. Now we have 3 apartments per floor, so, a bit more efficient. Albeit, I was initially considering making it like this. Albeit, I don't think it would be fun to have a New York/California apartment right there. But aside from that, we just continue dividing the rooms. Outside, we have the granite, and one other thing. You can actually just forego this whole accent right here, and replace it with moss. Put some dark oak trapdoors like that, and you can place some flowers in this. So you can have a nice flower bed, which massively increases the amount of color in this build. Because I kind of intentionally made this a little drab, and then realized it's maybe a little bit better if it's colorful. So, more work done, and, it's quite annoying to build an apartment complex. So, in order to make it easier, let's do one room, so that way you understand how to build a room, and if you make small variations, now you have different apartments. So, of course, on the ceiling, connect up all the support beams, and whenever they connect, make an intersection with a ultra frog light in the middle. Then, you should also have some beds, so anywhere from 1 to 3 beds. And I wouldn't recommend making them fancy because this is an apartment complex after all. So, some beds. You should also make some tables and chairs, so in order to do that, get your dark oak, and you can make a desk right here. Place 2 stairs, connect them up just like that, and place down a slab or a stair, but I recommend slab. And just like that, you can make a chair. So, just fill up this place with things that you need. And I'd recommend placing down at least 1 workstation for a villager. So that way you have a slightly more humane form of villager handling. especially because it's definitely much safer being an apartment complex. So this room is now decked out, and we can see we have a small carpet, two beds, and some flower pots, smokers, so that way any villager who lives here can get a job. Then we have some chicken, a painting, and a jukebox with a music disc. And I've heard some people don't like style, so I put it in there because, of course, apartments have to have loud music blaring at 2 a.m. So that room is now finished, and I recommend just filling out the rest of the rooms. And for that matter, you should also include some of the chairs and flower pots in this room downstairs along with the jukebox, so that way we can get most of our reception area done. And don't forget the lights. With our properly copied apartments, yeah, I kind of just used a structure block for time's sake, so they're all exactly the same. Still, we are starting to get somewhere. And I did the majority of the reception area because, as I stated, it's very similar to building an apartment. So, we got a big table, we got some smaller chairs with a very small table, another table, yeah, there's a lot of furniture, and a wall of backwards facing looms, which could function as mail. Then we have the reception desk, which is incomplete, but I'd recommend just adding some chairs back there, and if you can, possibly a computer, which you can do with a painting. So grab yourself a painting, then get yourself an armor stand with a chainmail helmet, and place down your chainmail helmet first. Then get your piston, place it upside down with your block of choice. So you're going to have to repeat this twice if you place it like that. Get a button and power the piston. So, like that. Then, if we do it one more time, you can see now we have birch planks there. Albeit that's not a preferable block. Still, break the block, do it again, and now we have a keyboard. Add a painting there, and now you have a computer. So, there's a lot of things you can do, but that's one thing I do recommend. With the little file cabinets I've made, the computers, the little item frames with paper, we now have a complete reception area. There's nothing much to it, it's just a reception area. So, it's just a place. Now, for the final thing of our build, that's not on the exterior, we need the janitor area. And there really isn't much to do here. You get some yellow concrete to possibly act as a bin. Like, there's so many things you can do, but I just recommend placing down some dark oak trapdoors and making those shelves, and then placing things on top of those, like sea pickles. So, things that, albeit won't make much sense, still could be interpreted as cleaning items. So, janitorial office done. We just have a yellow concrete block, and you can just imagine it to exist. Then we have another loom, so any incident reports can be stored there. Some little shelves, which are being held up by levers, but not actually, along with candles that are unlit to act as like aerosol cans for air freshener, and some sea pickles, which could be interpreted as other things. So, the interior of this building is now done, which means we must finally do the finishing part of the exterior. So, start by putting your normal roof onto this, which is terracotta, and then double layer it. So that way on the bottom we have terracotta, and on the top we just have one continuous band of terracotta. We got terracotta in, we got the accents finished, so we must do the final part, the roof. And in order to do the roof, find one part, and you can see how it just curves and just ends, because we don't want orange concrete up here, well, terracotta. Instead, we want to wrap around with dark oak planks. So, you might want to extend terracotta to here, but dark oak planks are cheaper. So it'd probably be in your best interest to just keep it at that. And from there, you want to coat this in some dark oak stairs, so that way there's a little bit of depth to this. On top of that, have some alternating blocks of orange terracotta. Fill the other alternating parts with some dark oak planks, and then leave it at that for now. With the alternating accents, we can now do the very final part of the build, and second to final if you have not placed flowers, which I kind of skipped, but you should really do that. Any flower will do, just not azaleas. And what we want to do here is just invert what we had going on the bottom. Place another block so that way it goes a little bit inward. And once you're done with that, then go back again with a stair, and it should then sink down into the roof, kind of like this. And once you're done with that, then your roof is now finished. With the roof and flowers done, our apartment complex is finished. It's actually quite nice. And if we were assuming we were in California or New York, this would be approximately about $3,700 per month. So I'd consider this a pretty good build. It is intentionally a little drab, but I feel like the flowers do make up for that with the small pops of color they give on what's mainly just brown and orange. So, if you have a city, I'd recommend building this. And if you don't like how drab it is, you can quite easily just change the granite to something like andesite, replace the terracotta with something else. Different color of terracotta I'd actually recommend if you're going for a more colorful build. But anyways, I do recommend this if you have a city build. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. So, take care, enjoy your new apartment complex. Gearsaw out.